What if I'm taking on new or expanded responsibilities? This is a type of change, or it may be a factor that influenced all of your change. When you take on more responsibility, either due to a relationship status change, coming together, or separating, both instances will influence the realm of responsibility. Perhaps maybe it's work related and you took on a new role at work or moved to take on a new role. More responsibility can instantly be rewarding. It's a pay bump, title bump, authority to affect progress where previously you had barriers. These are some pros of, responsibility. You get something new, something more, some status. You may have desired it and targeted it, and it can seem like a goal achieved. So relish this way you can, because for many people there are some cons to taking on more responsibility. So cons, there may be hidden responsibilities you did not previously consider. Many times I've seen people gain new responsibilities only to discover that the domain of skills that they needed, they didn't have everything they thought they needed. And to explain being the expert at one level, say the go-to guy in a fabrication shop, you need skills at different machinery. And you need to know how long it takes things to enable real flow. And you even find yourself advising leadership or advising sales staff. And that all motivates people to say, well, maybe I want the lead position. And then you start leading the shop. You get a promotion, and now you're no longer responsible for the things that you were skilled at after that transition. Now you let go of advising staff. It's no longer, a timely activity for you. But there is a worse than not advising the staff that you used to, or the way you used to. Worse would be continuing to advise them the way you used to, as well as doing the new job. The reason this is worse, you thought it would be easier, but you're going to start spreading yourself really thin. And for a time, or for a long time, you're minimally effective, or stressfully effective, or ineffective altogether. That ineffectiveness cascades into identity questions, considering, did I make a bad decision to begin with? And if you keep doing the old job and don't let it go when you should, you're digging a hole deeper into stress. In addition, you knew some of the things that you would need to do in the new role. You may even do those things better than the person who did it before. But there are those hidden extra responsibilities you never saw being done before. You were not aware of it, and no one thought to tell you about them. And when you were applying for that, it's just, oh, here, do these too. So previous issues plus more stress. Many times this is why people getting the bump in the same office or in a relationship status change from dating to living together to married, the stress and uncertainty of the new stuff. This is the reason why some people try to keep a hold of the things they enjoyed in their previous status. A sense of normality and positive identity. Saying, I was good at that before, I don't want to let that go. This new stuff is weird. So when you're taking on new or expanded responsibilities, the singular question I want you to consider before moving to the next video, ask yourself, how can I accomplish this new role without being controlling? There's a utility to this question. When you take on the new role, there's a pressure to exude a confidence that in the end may bite you in the butt. If you begin in the mindset that you want to avoid being controlling, as a byproduct, you begin to see the skills of those around you and you begin to collaborate. So Good, right? 2. Also, when you ask yourself how to accomplish this new role without being controlling, you inherently recognize when you are micromanaging. No one ever intends to micromanage at the beginning, but certain variables can make it seem like, well, maybe right now micromanaging is the best option. Personally, I find this to be counterproductive. You not only want to avoid being controlling at the beginning, you want to continue in the role without being controlling. So consider the question. Find some options. As you look, you will start to find some things. Now, 3. When you ask yourself how to avoid being controlling, you may begin to see gaps that you refuse to acknowledge before. And perhaps you have excessively delegated duties to those around you. And, while you are stressed, they are more stressed because, well, okay, I'm not going to get into that. But trust me, excessive delegation is counterproductive. It's not the point of this training, but if you find that in order to even get the job done that is necessary, it's an indicator to look at the overall flow versus ramping up your control. Okay. And here's the ultimate reason why you want to ask yourself how to accomplish your new role without being controlling. Your own sustained peace of mind. When you can look for the capabilities in others, when you can see them with abilities, whether they exist or they need to be learned, when you can see others as capable, this supports collaboration. You also begin to see the gaps and skills needed to complete the work. You start seeing the full picture and the load shared or unequally shared between all involved. When you view control as necessary in your mind, you must always be on alert. You play gotcha. There is no rest while on the job. No rest for you. You will see accusations and measurements increase. People begin pointing fingers or turning on each other or straight up hiding things from you. So, congratulations. By hanging your hat on being controlling, you have found very interesting divisions to play with in the workplace. Fun. Okay. In part 4, I'm going to give you some tips to resolving this issue if you're already in the middle of it. Remember, there's a reason I split up the problem video from the resolution. I know a lot of you just binge videos thinking that osmosis or listening simply fixes your problem. It really doesn't. The application, the attempt, that is where the gold is. So go back, see what issue it is that you're looking at from part 1. Do the work of asking yourself the question in this part 3, which is, how can I accomplish this new role without being controlling for this to pay off? What you get out of it is your own peace of mind. And I'll see you soon.